welcome to another tutorial on Cherwell by Beyond 20 Professional Services. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to talk to you about how we use variables in version 5 and up in Cherwell. Variables used to be something of a pipe dream in Cherwell. The closest we had were stored values, and you may be familiar with those. They were global in nature, and if you changed one, it impacted the entire system. In version 5, Cherwell allowed us to start using what I call transient variables, which means they only live as long as the command set you're running, in our case, usually a one-step. What I'm going to show you today is how to set up a variable, how to choose its value, and where these things can be very useful. Now, additionally, Cherwell has given us the ability to do user-specific stored values, which means that when I'm logged in, I may have a different value for a stored value than someone else. These are also extremely useful. But today I want to specifically talk to you about the variables that Cherwell allows us to set that, again, only live as long as the one-step is running. As you can see, I'm in my one-step action manager today, and I wanted to show you how we would set a variable when closing a task. Close is a built-in one-step. This comes out of the box, and we're going to look at the actual out-of-the-box settings right now. And what you see here is a prompt for the close code and then to actually close the one-step. Now, let's say, for instance, when I close a task, I want to be prompted and send an email out to some individual within the system. And that notification only happens when I close this task, and each time a task gets closed, that individual changes. It's not the same person every time. I want to send something to my manager, or I want to send something to another member of my team. So what I want to do is I want to throw in a notification here, but I want a prompt for the user that I want to send it to. So let's just say, for instance, I add this new step called update a variable or stored value, and you'll see the window here. I have the ability to update a stored value, and I have the ability to update a variable. I can also base the value on scope and value here, but let's just call this notification person, something fairly common, and we're going to call it a variable. And in this case, I just type in the name of the variable I want, email of person to notify. And down here, I'm going to just set a prompt. And we do that by simply right-clicking. You can also use the down arrow over here on the right side of the window. So I go down here and I find my prompts, and I select a new prompt, and we'll call it email. And my prompt is going to say, please enter the email address of the person to notify. We'll make it text, no default value here. We'll go ahead and click on reprompt each occurrence. This is useful if you're going to use a go-to loop or something along those lines. We'll have a video separately about how to use those. But go ahead and click OK, and then that selects the email. Now, if I want to notify that person directly, I can go ahead and add and send an email. And in my to line, I can pick the variable I set. And that variable actually will stay the same only throughout the length of this one step. Once somebody else closes their own task, they will be able to set the same variable, and it will only live as long as their one step. And I don't impact anyone else by setting that variable. So subject, task closed, just letting you know I finished my work. Yay. Thanks. And maybe I sign it with just my own name and email address, or just my own name. In this case, I'll just pull up my system function, current user display name, and that's how the email looks. And we'll say let user edit before sending, and click OK. Now, after it closes the task, it's going to ask me who I want to notify, and it's going to send that email out. And that's as simple as it is to go ahead and create a variable and then use it later in the same one step. Once this one step terminates, that variable loses its value, doesn't exist in the system anymore. Hope this has been helpful, and as always, please subscribe to our channel, Beyond 20 LLC on YouTube. Thank you.